Hello, beautiful people. This is a video. I hope please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And these questions that I am going to pose to you, I would like you to address them if possible. I hear a lot about the royal family playing the long game. I also hear a lot that they keep a dignified silence, correct? Yet, when Prince William landed in Boston, there had already, I think, been a statement issued because a woman, Marlene Headley, stated that Susan Hussey traumatized her. She went on every newspaper, every TV station that would hear her, basically trash, humiliate, and brand this 83-year-old woman as a racist. This is a woman, a lady, who for 60 years plus gave her service to Queen and country impeccably, flawlessly, and there has never been a hint of her being racist at all. In fact, Mandela used to love her very much and used to ask for her whenever he came into town. And what's really the critical part for me here is that Marlene Headley knew that this elderly lady was not being racist. She was just asking her where she was from because she was dressed up in a ghetto in a get-up like Hakuna Matata, you know? She knew that. She knew that Lady Hussey wasn't being racist, and she knew that she was evading answering her to create more drama. She had no problem trashing this lady's reputation. She had no problem. She had no problem whatsoever going on every news station brandishing this lady as a racist. The worst possible thing you can do right now is call anybody a racist. It's just like in the 1200s or something, when you call somebody a witch, with or without evidence, you would be you would be burnt to the stake. She didn't think twice of saying, you know what, maybe this lady was asking. She knew. I'm gonna call BS. She knew what the lady was asking her, and she kept giving her the runaround. She was at a social event of which she was not a guest. She came along with, somebody brought her along. This is a social event. This was a socially accepted question because she's dressed again as Hakuna Matata with a weird name or a different name. Okay, instead of saying, if she had said, I'm Marlene Headley from Hackney, end of story. Oh, I'm Ngozi Fulani dressed, she probably gave her an accent. Okay, the palace response, swift. The individual has been dealt with. The individual is Prince William's godmother. Again, a lady who for 60 years plus had done her job impeccably, flawlessly, and very humanely, and has never had one word or ever been called a racist. Okay? Nobody kept a dignified silence there, did they? Buckingham Palace did not keep a dignified silence, did they? Kensington Palace did not keep a dignified silence. And they both did not back this lady and said, wait a minute. Because Buckingham Palace and Kensington Palace, they both knew this lady and they knew her character. And instead of rewarding all those years of loyalty, they threw her to the wolves. Okay? So Meghan Markle has gone on record, hasn't stopped saying that the staff that she abused and bullied and abused her and called her a racist. They gave racial slurs to her kid. She has said that the press gave racial slurs to everybody and to her kid without any evidence. Okay. Why didn't Buckingham Palace and Kensington Palace act as swiftly as they did with Lady Hussey? Why didn't they call for an investigation and say, wait a minute, that's not right? Why wasn't Meghan Markle held accountable when all those people, all that staff was being abused to the point that Jason Kanoff had to write an email, if not more, saying if the principals were held accountable for the abuse to the employees. Clearly not, because Meghan Markle to this day and Harry, not only are they continuing to abuse that staff that lost their jobs, their reputations, and were severely traumatized by Harry and Meghan Markle's actions. And you know, it's lovely that Prince William gave them a hug. Yeah, I'm sure that helps when somebody's losing their livelihood and their reputation in a world stage. No, Prince William, a hug is not gonna cut it. Okay, Harry and Meghan Markle are still trashing. I don't care if Meghan Markle wants to call you a cheater, a bully, and wants to call Princess Catherine a skank. That is something, that's a personal insult. That if you want you and your family to be called that by the likes of a D-lister like Meghan Markle and a traitor like Prince Harry, that's an entirely separate thing. You can keep all the dignified silence you want. But the fact that they're still bullying and abusing the staff, an entire nation and other nations of the Commonwealth, because they're basically saying that the entire Commonwealth is a bunch of nations that are elitist, exploitative, and another form of slavery. You don't keep a dignified silence there, because you cannot choose and pick when you keep a dignified silence. How come why didn't you keep a dignified silence and say, you know what, let's date this thing with Ngozi Fulani, because a lot more things are gonna come out, you know, to light. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen now. Marlene Headley came to palace. The king and queen praised that. Lady Susan Hussey was made to apologize. When everybody in the entire world, even them, know that this lady is not a racist and that she's gonna know more. This is a lady who's traveled the world with Her Majesty the Queen, who has dealt with all kinds of cultures and ethnicities. Not one complaint. Until this woman says, she says, where are you really from? Apparently now you can even ask that, because clearly this woman, Marlene, was lying and was being coy and trying to create a situation where there was none. Okay? Where now Ngozi Fulani or Marlene Headley saying, well, she didn't mean anything by it. Yeah, but now Lady Susan Hussey doesn't want to go anywhere. Her career of 60 years plus, and by the way, she was never paid, ends because of a woman who is a grifter and is a liar. She went completely silent as soon as the Charities Commission started to look into her finances. She has a charity that she's the only employee, and if you're not black enough, they don't help you. One of her answers from a few of her victims said that, why would you go to the police and denounce your husband or partner or whatever? She discouraged these people from speaking out against the abuse that they were getting. Okay, we've seen her on video saying how she dresses up more ethnically to get more stuff to her advantage. That's illegal in the United Kingdom. Okay, I can tell you what's going to happen next. Ngozi Fulani or Marlene Headley, the Charities Commission are going to stop looking into her questionable financial practices of her charity. Number two, she's going to get a grant either from the Royal Foundation or from the Princess Trust, or they're going to make sure that she's well connected so she gets a lot more donations to her charity. And she's going to be given a nice cozy position there. So they're rewarding a woman who is a known liar because she went on national television and she says she's never tweeted about Meghan Markle nor Harry. And we're going to get to this right now. And I'm going to ask a few questions to Buckingham Palace and Kensington Palace. You keep a dignified silence when the abuse and the slander and the reputational damage and the mental health, emotional stress it's to the employees only. Not when it's to you or Meghan. I ask you what Jason Kanoff asked in that email. Are you guys not held liable to your abuse? Are you allowed to get away with that? It is such a shame that the Parliament is the rod that keeps the royal family honorable, honest, and make sure that they follow their rules. This is why Edward had to abdicate, because they said, no, If you want to marry this woman, she does not fit the mold. And actually, he was doing other questionable stuff. It's either or. Either or. And Parliament said, this is, let me just, before I go on, this is why the bill for removal of titles is going on right now. Because as it stands right now, all titles, prince, duke, duchess, count, countess, all honorary royal titles, it's up to the monarch. He can give and take away. Parliament cannot do anything because they couldn't do anything with Edward. Parliament, Churchill, you can go look at it. The letter is there when Parliament is urging King George, Queen Elizabeth II's father, not to give King Edward or the former king any royal titles. Any royal titles. They said, please, we do not want him to be royal because if he's abdicated the highest position, he should not be getting any royal titles. But the king, they couldn't do anything because it was up to the monarch. I repeat, all titles, prince, princess, count, countess, duke, duchess, all of them are up to the king. And no, that's not a birthright by Harry. It's a title that he could have at the pleasure of the monarch. Okay? He's not a prince by blood, by birth. No, he's not. It all comes to a letters patent, and it depends if the king wants to grant or queen wants to grant those titles. Titles are there and are optional for the monarch to give and take away. Back then, Parliament kept the monarchy, the royals, honest, so the monarchy's reputation would be beyond anything, would not be questioned. Prince William, I ask you, you denounce your godmother as the individual and that, basically you called her a racist when you know that this lady's not. That situation was dealt swiftly. King Charles feels like a man that he has an 83-year-old lady who has served faithfully apologize to this black woman who's a grifter. And she doesn't acknowledge at any point that maybe she shouldn't have done what she did. Now she says, oh, everybody gets a lot of hatred towards Marlene Headley because her lies, her grift got exposed. So I ask, why aren't you calling out Meghan Markle and Harry with all the lies that they're doing? Harry and Meghan Markle, when they found out that Jason Kanoff was actually going to give those things and testify, and you can hear Jenny Alfia said, I don't know what they wanted to give, that it wasn't really necessary, all that evidence. Yes, it was. Because the reason why the case was dismissed was because the judge decided to give Meghan Markle the benefit of the doubt and believe her words. Had that evidence been shown beforehand, her credibility would have been shot and the trial would have proceeded. Instead, Meghan Markle had to apologize because she committed perjury and she was let go. She blatantly committed perjury to the courts. Okay? She didn't win a case. She lied. She committed perjury. And Jenny Afia sits there saying, oh, that didn't matter. Of course it mattered because it came down to credibility. And we now know that Meghan Markle was a liar. She's always been a liar. This woman doesn't know what truth is. So I'm sick and tired of you people saying they're playing the long game in a dignified silence. And I hear a lot of people surprised. Oh, King Charles is going to invite them to the coronation. Is that what really worries you? And that Meghan Markle and Harry are demanding an apology. Why are people surprised about that? They asked for it on this Netflix show that they think, Meghan Markle says, that somebody came and knelt before her, like the queen that she's not, and said, thank you for your servicemen to our country. 72 days against 70 years of engagements from Her Majesty the Queen. So she thinks that Catherine is beneath her. She thinks that the Queen is beneath her. And she has created this false race narrative, which is, again, illegal in the United Kingdom. So I ask you, King Charles, and I'm going to ask you this question because Marlene Headley, also known as Ngozi Fulani, said that you committed domestic violent abuse against Meghan Markle. Are you going to ask Marlene Headley forgiveness? Are you going to issue a letter saying that you did commit violent abuse against Meghan Markle because of her race? Because this is in public. This is the same woman who accused you. She didn't say, I think Prince, you were Prince then. I think Prince Charles and Camilla. She didn't say I think. She said that you, now King Charles, and Camilla, the Queen Consort, had racially abused Meghan Markle. I don't see you sitting down with Marlene Headley and asking her for forgiveness or calling her out and holding her accountable for that, do I? And again, Prince William, a hug is not going to cut it. You know what the message is for anybody in the world to see? You don't maintain a dignified silence. You just don't want to hold your own accountable for what they're doing, and you're throwing everybody else to the wolves. You're saying that all the employees, the loyal employees, this lady gave you guys 60 plus years of unpaid, flawless, impeccable work with loyalty. This is how you repay it. She's your godmother, Prince William. Shame on you. You can keep all the dignified silence if Harry now wants to call you skank, Catherine is skank, and whatever she wants to call your children, that's fine. But they're still throwing the employees to the wolves. And you guys, King Charles just gave Marlene Headley the royal platform worldwide, completely brandishing Lady Susan Hussey a racist and apologizing to this woman. This was a farce. You gave that woman your platform. Why can't you give the same platform to the victims of Harry and Meghan Markle? They deserve a voice. Be generous. The environment is nice, but these people, some of these people are still getting over the abuse that they endured. They're still being bullied by Harry and Meghan Markle with all their lies. Meghan Markle, instead of saying, shit, I got caught lying, she's like, how dare they? It's William's fault that now, they should say that he now worked for William. It was not the point that now Jason Kanoff works for William. The point is that they lie. That's called sophistry. But again, King Charles, answer the question. Are you going to apologize to Marlene Headley, aka Ngozi Fulani, or to Meghan Markle? Because according to Ngozi Fulani, she made a statement that you racially abused Meghan Markle to the point that she wanted to kill herself. That all the employees did the same thing to Meghan Markle. So are you going to apologize for that? Where is the letter for that? Where is the letter for that? Prince William, I adore you and your family. Why don't you be generous with the people who are abused by Meghan Markle and lend them your platform so they can also speak out? Because the worst thing you can do to a victim is to silence them. And Meghan Markle and Harry haven't shut up attacking these people who worked hard. Is that really the message you want to give? That you guys are not held accountable. In Parliament, I think it's time for Parliament to get involved with the royal family, because what was done to Lady Susan Hussey was elder abuse. What was done to Meghan Markle's employees was abuse, plain and simple. You can't hide, oh, we're keeping a dignified silence. It's time for the UK Parliament to act as the rod that keeps the royal family in check in order to keep the monarchy respectable. Because as Harry says, he can do the job better than Prince William. They were born for the job. He's happy he's destroying the Commonwealth and its reputation. And King Charles, oh, nobody's going to change King Charles' mind that he's going to have Meghan Markle and Harry at the thing. And now Meghan Markle are asking for an apology. This is what we get with people like King Charles. No backbone, no morals. And the reason why he acts like that is because he got away with it in 1994. when he wrote a book, he gave interviews against the Queen and his own father and the entire institution. So is dignified silence in the face of injustice? Is that dignified? Seeing injustice happen and you let it happen? Is there any dignity in seeing people being bullied and harassed and their reputations trashed, and you know that that's not the case? Where's the dignity in that? They say long game. The royal family are playing long game. These are people's lives we're talking about. This lady Susan Hussey doesn't want to go out. She's been terribly depressed. And here you have a woman who is abusive, who's a liar, who lied on national television saying she's never tweeted about Meghan Markle. We know it's not true. A woman who abuses people and does not give aid to people who actually need it because they're not black enough. She asked them, where are you from? When they called asking for help. Where is the dignity in that? I ask you guys, and I ask you please to answer.